I had another argument with Newcastle which ended up with her snogging another guy in the crew bar to get to me. She wouldn't shag them, that I was sure of. She just wanted to piss me off, and it royally did this time. I was in the smoking room cursing the fuck out of Newcastle. I was spitting bile as I was chugging down my Octavod and Red. I chain smoked hard as I was ranting and raving. The lead singer of the party band, Summer Breeze, walked in. Since she turned up on the ship for 2 months of cover, Summer Breeze consistently flirted with me. I never acted on it, but always played along. I decided to act on it today. Yeah, why not? What could go wrong? I just wanted to feel better about myself and most brutally get one up over on Newcastle. I opened up the bag of dreams and produced an unopened bottle of vodka and a shit ton of mixers. For the rest of the night, Summer Breeze and I were drinking, flirting, talking shit and getting close. At one point I noticed Newcastle looking into the smoking room at me and Summer Breeze. Newcastle was on her own. I could see her not liking what she was seeing. I grabbed Summer Breeze and kissed her. She kissed me back, and I was enjoying the fact that I knew Newcastle was learning a hard lesson. About 2 drinks later, Summer Breeze whispered into my ear and took me by the hand, and we left the smoking room. The crew bar was now a ghost town. The clock on the wall showed the time to be 3 a.m. We left the deserted bar and made our way down to my cabin. I couldn't believe my luck. Not only had I acted the best revenge towards Newcastle, but I was going to get laid too. Both Summer Breeze and I were in my cabin. I opened up my fridge and poured us both another drink. By the time I finished pouring, my flies were unzipped and my cock was pulled out and tugged as though it was never tugged before. Summer Breeze kissed and whispered, "This is all you get until I know you are serious." This isn't what I expected, but I went with it anyways. A while later, after my goose was flogged, Summer Breeze went into my bathroom and washed her hands clean. She came up to me and planted another kiss on me and said, "I'll catch you tomorrow, Tiger." Then she left. I went to bed feeling all proud of myself, then went to sleep. The next morning I had a lay-in. I slept till I was rudely awoken with banging on my cabin door. I lay in my pit and shouted, "I'll be there in 5. I fell out of bed and threw the nearest clothes on, then went to the door. I should have looked through the spy hole, but me being me, I was just too hungover to realise this. I opened the door and Newcastle barged her way inside. She made her way to my desk and sat down on my chair. She opened my fridge and pulled out a tin of beer. "Mo, make yourself at home," I sarcastically said. "What can I do for you?" "We need to talk," she said as she gulped from my can of beer. "We're talking now, aren't we?" I said as I sat on my bed and reaching into my fridge and pulling out a beer for myself. I cracked it open, then reached over to my desk for a cigarette, pulled out a fag and lit it. Newcastle spoke. "Summer Breeze." "What about her?" I said after a swig of the amber nectar. Newcastle took a swig and then said, "Did you fuck her?" I coughed on my cigarette. I took a swig and then said, "That's not any of your business." But no, I didn't fuck her. This was true. I didn't fuck her. All I got was a handjob, but Newcastle didn't need to know that. "It is my business because I like you," she said. "You like me, you do ya?" I said. "But you made it perfectly clear how much you like me by trapping off with that prick in my face last night after yet another bust-up." Newcastle took another swig, then said, "Well, I was pissed off with you." "And that makes it okay," I said, exasperated. "Anyway, why were you pissed off with me?" Newcastle finished off her tin, crushed it in her fist and came over to me and looked me up close in the eye. "Because you blew me off for dinner." I looked at her back in the eye, and without looking away, I stubbed my cigarette in the ashtray. "How many times do I have to tell you, if rehearsal overruns, they overrun? That's not my fault. The band couldn't get the songs right, and it sure as fuck isn't my fault if that prick of a noiseboy Dr. Lecter did yet another hour-long sound check before we started." Newcastle put her arms around my neck, then kissed me. I ran my hands down to her hips, and I pulled her close to me. My hands went up the inside of her polo neck and unhooked her bra. Newcastle lifted her top, and I pulled us back onto my bed. Later that day, after the final show and the set strike had finished, I was up in the crew bar and sat on my lap was Newcastle. At this point I had completely forgotten about the events of last night. Newcastle planted a big kiss on me and I reciprocated without hesitation. Newcastle got up and left to go to the bar. Whilst I was there, I went into the smoking room. As soon as I entered, the room fell silent. I looked around and there was a group of musicians sat in the corner, and I just knew I was in the shit. I lit my cigarette and I could see Summer Breeze hunched up and crying. Summer Breeze saw me. She picked up a drink and came up to me. "You bastard!" she shouted at the top of her lungs. Now, my advice to inexperienced boys and men: when you have wronged a girl, humiliated a girl, and used the girl to get back at another girl, and that girl is holding a drink, make sure your mouth is open as you will without question be receiving a free drink, without a shadow of a doubt. Even if you don't like the drink, it is more dignified if you don't waste the drink that is coming your way. As Summer Breeze approached me, I could sense what was going to happen. My perception went into slow motion. I could see a drink slowly fly through the air, followed by the plastic cup. I could see every drink molecule heading towards my face. Had I been in a Matrix film, I would have bent my body around the slow-moving fluid to avoid it, but alas, this was real life. My mouth opened up wide as my face was hit with a pint full of vodka cranberry. I think I got a mouthful and my face and t-shirt got the rest. My cigarette was doused, so I dropped it to the floor. There was a barrage of gasps and laughs as Summer Breeze barged past me and left the crew bar in tears. I looked at everyone in the smoking room and took out another cigarette and lit it. I took out another cigarette and lit it. I guess I deserved that, I said, but at least I got a free drink out of it.